Welcome into the first mock draft Monday of the fantasy football season, joined by Alec as always. Alec, two fun things. One is that this is the first mock draft Monday, so that's always a blast. Two is we have a giveaway coming soon. So we have a giveaway of an unnamed NFL player. It's a signed jersey by this NFL player. The player will be named at 500 subscribers, and the giveaway will be at 1,000 subscribers. The only criteria is you have to be subscribed to the channel. That is the only criteria. So hit the subscribe button, and you have a chance to win a signed jersey by an unnamed player. Then the player will be named at 500 subscribers. Other than that, Alec, we will go ahead and hop right into this. So we're going to be doing a 12-team full PPR non-super flex mock draft today. So that's a mouthful there. But there's 12 teams, full PPR, not super flex. What we're going to do here is we're going to shuffle the draft order. I'm picking second. You are picking fourth. Keep in mind, this is a mock draft. This is Sleeper's automated system. So there is a chance that they pull some absolutely crazy stuff at any point in this. We might see it right away. Who knows? First overall goes Jamar Chase. Okay, that's actually standard. I'm going to go Bijan Robinson here. I think this is the only guy that in reality is a debate at the first overall pick. I'm between Jamar and Bijan. So you're just taking whoever's left there too.
Yeah, no, and right here, I'm going to go Jahmyr Gibbs here.
Yep, no, I like that.
Yeah, I kind of like starting off this year with like a hero RB in the first. And especially if you're like in the top 5 and you can get Gibbs or Barkley or Bijan in the top 5, I really like that.
Yeah, I would agree. I think at the turn here, typically the wide receiver depth is a little bit better than what the running back depth is, depending on how you go. But I mean, obviously everything's dependent on your league. But who are you looking at here in the second round?
Yeah, so I don't like to start like I like a wide receiver and a running back in round 1 and 2. So I'm going to go AJ Brown here. I like that he fell. I either wanted Drake London or AJ Brown, and AJ Brown fell.
Okay. I'm very similar. I like to start out. I mean, I especially this year, I think this is one of the few years where waiting on quarterback and tight end is so smart because the value that you can get later in the draft is so good at quarterback and tight end. And I think the value you can get at flex early in the draft is significantly better. I think that that's the clear best strategy in my mind. So I'm not going Lamar. I'm waiting. And I think that there's a couple guys that catch my eye here, and I want to go wide receiver and then running back here. And there's one running back I really want. I'm going to go Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm taking him over Tyreek Hill here, and the running back just went that I wanted. I wanted Chase Brown really badly. I had a feeling he was going to fall, and he didn't. So now I'm just looking at best available. Could go Jonathan Taylor. I'm going to go Kyren Williams here. I think Kyren Williams, in my opinion, isn't just in a better offensive situation than Jonathan Taylor. And given hopefully Matthew Stafford's overall health, I'd like starting with 2 running backs, and then I can smash wide receiver later.
Yeah, so I wanted so the 4 picks that I wanted, actually, really the 5 after I picked and Lad went, I would have taken JSN, Chase Brown, Trey McBride, Kyren, or Jonathan Taylor. That literally would have been my pick. So I'm kind of sitting here like, what do I do now? I usually wait on QB. I do. Mm-hmm. But Lamar's fallen to pick 3-4. So I don't really I don't really want to smash Breece Hall here. I don't want to pick Tyreek Hill here. Mm-hmm. And obviously tight ends are to go Lamar.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where, like what you said, is no matter what your draft strategy is, if somebody falls, you take the best player available, and especially if they're falling as far as Lamar was there, the value is great. And I think there's a chance you get some really good guys. Maybe not anymore. I was hoping that Kamara was there so you could take him, and maybe I could end up with my guy, but I don't think so anymore.
Yeah, I think you know who I'm going to pick here. I'm going to go Rashee Rice.
Yep, I saw that one coming. Rashee Rice, the value there is spectacular. He's the number 1 option with the best quarterback in the league, right? Whether he's the best fantasy quarterback in the league, but it's the best quarterback in the league. I'm going to go with Courtland Sutton here. I think the value at Courtland Sutton, he finished as wide receiver 15 last year. He's being drafted much later this year. I don't understand it, and I think that what you're getting here, you're giving me him you're giving me Cortland Sutton as my wide receiver too. Nothing changed from last year to this year for me to expect that Cortland Sutton's not going to finish as a top 20 wide receiver again. So I absolutely love the value there. And now I'm looking at this and where we're at here. So picking second overall is always interesting because there's such a big gap in where you pick at, right? So my pick now, I'm not going to be on the board until down here with Jerry Judy, DeAndre Swift. So I'm not looking at the top 3, 6, even 8 guys. I'm looking at the next 15, 20 guys. Who in there is my guy that I want?
Yeah.
There's 2 of them that I want. One of them is Tedrow McMillan. One of them is Travion Henderson. I want one of those 2 guys. So now I'm looking at what do I want to do? I think I'm going to go wide receiver here. I'm going to go T-Mac. I absolutely love the value. I overpay a little bit, but I'm not going to get him in the 6th round, and I need T-Mac on my team this year.
So I went Travion Henderson. I was really nervous you're going to take Travion there. So I'm happy I can get Henderson as my RB2.
Yeah, so now you're in a situation where you have quarterback and both starting receivers and running backs. I'm in a position where I have all of my flex positions other than tight end set, so I just need quarterback, tight end, and I might even continue to wait. We'll see here.
Yeah. All right. So comes back to me at the 6-9. Nice. So I'm looking probably at a wide out here. We're the biggest fans of Calvin Ridley this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to go for someone who I'm a little higher on than Calvin Ridley this year. I'm going to go Roma Dunze here. I'm kind of bought in. Like a lot of people I've been looking at on Twitter and stuff, they have Rome like as a prospect last year, and that just kind of shit show of an offense they had as a generational prospect in like almost everybody's model. So I'm kind of banking on Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams figuring it out, so Rome can kind of break out. That's
Yeah.
kind of that's kind of the thought process behind that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like it. I mean, I think that the other thing at Rome you're pairing with that is you have your 2nd-year jump. You also have just more targets available, right? And Keenan Allen's not there. So I think Roma Dunze, it is a good call. I'm curious if Travis Hunter did not go the pick before you, would you have gone Travis Hunter?
I would have gone Travis Hunter, yeah.
Okay. Good to know. I'm gonna go Calvin Ridley here. So I was going to take Roma Dunze if you took Calvin Ridley. So as you can see, we're probably on the same page. So I have 4 wideouts now, 2 running backs. Yeah, I look at the quarterback just market here, right? I'm not in love with Bo Nix or Jared Goff or really Kyler, really. It's significantly more than the guys down here, right? I look at a guy like Caleb Williams, Justin Fields, who I know you're really high on, Drake May, even guys down here like a Michael Penix, Bryce Young. The difference between these guys and the guys that you're going to pay for up here is not that big. Whereas the difference I'm getting in a flex and in the 7th round compared to the 11th round is huge. So I'm probably looking running back here. When I look running back, this is another one where I sit here and I look and I'm like, who's not going to be there for me when it comes back to me? And I'm going to take one of my guys here that it's going to be a slight overpay. Again, I don't care. It's Travis Etienne. And what I'm getting out of Travis Etienne is a guy that just played 100% of the preseason snaps in week 1 with the starters. This is a guy who was a running back 2 or 3 2 years ago. I think running back 3 2 years ago. And he's 25. So it's not like this guy's a 30-year-old running back like Aaron Jones, who's going to start declining. He just had a bad year last year. So did everybody in this Jaguars offense that wasn't named Brian Thomas Jr. So I love the value you're getting at ETN. ETN's still going to be a great running back. Liam Cohen has extremely fantasy relevant running backs. He's proven that in his time with Tampa Bay. So I love the value with ETN there at the start of the 7th round.
Yeah, no, I'm a big ETN fan. I think he's going to start going up boards, especially if there's still buzz even after the 100% of snaps. I think what was it, 12 snaps, all 12 with the starting offense he was in there. So I'm going to go with one of my guys this year that I think is really going to break out. I think he has a real opportunity. And kind of the way my team's constructed, only one of these guys needs to hit. So I'm going to go Caleb Johnson here from those Steelers. So realistically, looking at my team that I've drafted, really only him or Travion Henderson need to kind of break out this year, and I think definitely one of them will for my RB2.
Yeah, no, I love the mindset of that too, right? And that's that you're starting a lot. You don't win a championship with your bench. So taking, two flyers on running backs where you need one of them to hit, and it's really likely that one of them is going to hit. I really like the strategy there.
Yeah. So coming into the 8th round here, so I want to go a tight end with either this pick or the next pick. Okay, but
Mhm.
this is something that's important to look at when you're doing your mock draft. So team 3 already has a tight end, you don't, and then team 1 has a tight end. Okay, so I'm cool with David Njoku or Tyler Warren, but I'm not going to take him here because only one can go. So I'm not going to take a tight end here. And that's something that you should probably look at, like when you're doing a draft,
Mhm.
especially if you're doing like a super flex and the other team already has 2 QBs, then you could
Yep.
probably just wait. So instead of that here, I'm going to go with one of my guys. I think he's going to break out this year. I don't know what Chris Godwin's going to do. So I'm going to go Emeka Ibuka here, in like the late 8th.
I love that. I think the value is good for Igbuka. I love that even more because I think for my team, I was really looking Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren was the
Yeah,
guy that I
yeah,
wanted in this
yeah.
position. So getting Tyler Warren, I love. And then there were two receivers I was looking at, and I'm going to get the one that I like a little bit more. Matthew Golden was one as well. Played 100% of first team snaps in the first preseason game, which I think is something to be told, something to be said, right? In the sense that it's preseason game week 1 in a wide receiver room that's kind of, I don't want to say mid, it's just very similar when it comes to skill level, right? Nobody's emerged as the clear 1, clear 2. So the fact that Golden's playing all snaps is important. I'm going to go Ricky Pearsall, though. I think this is a guy that I absolutely love getting in the 9th round. This is the guy that's probably going to be the wide receiver 1 for at least the first 6 weeks in a Shanahan-led offense. After that is the easy wide receiver 2, maybe even competing with Ayuk for wide receiver 1, depending on how Ayuk comes back and how Pearsall performs in the first, half of the season. I love the value. I'm getting him as my wide receiver 5. And I think it's absolutely absurd value to have a guy that's going to be the wide receiver 1 on probably a top 10 or 12 offense in the league for the first
Yeah.
6 weeks. I love it.
Yeah, so I really like the Pearsall pick. There's been really good buzz of him out of camp too.
Mhm.
He's dominating, which is great because if you got to think, I mean, he got shot last year,
Yeah.
and by the end of the year though, he was kind of cooking.
Yes.
He had 3 big fantasy weeks the last 8 weeks, and that was like a couple months after being shot in the chest. So the talent's definitely there for him. So kind of like what I was saying earlier, I was either going Warren or Njoku. I'm fine with Njoku on this team. I feel pretty strong about it. I don't really need like like a super tight end. So David Njoku being a top 8-ish tight end's fine for me.
So does the Harold Fannin Jr. draft pick bother you at all with Njoku's stock or not really for this year?
I don't think in redraft. I really
Okay.
don't. I don't think the Browns QB situation is good enough to support 2 tight ends, and I just don't think Fannin Jr. is going to actually get the snap share this year that we actually want from him, like to
Okay.
actually be a factor.
Yep. Completely understandable there.
Yeah, so it comes back to me here. See, this is where it gets a little tricky because you kind of get down to this point where if you told me you wanted to go, like, this is like, and I don't know, I want your opinion here. Some of these picks where it's like 10th, 11th, 12th round, kind of somewhere there. If you told me you wanted Rashid Shaheed over Darnell Mooney, like, I wouldn't blame you. Like, if you told me like you wanted to take a guy that's 20 spots lower on Sleeper's ADP than the guy that's at the top of the board, like, I wouldn't blame you because this is kind of where like you take a stand. This is
Mhm.
kind of where you can try to win a fantasy league with like a league winning flex play
Yep.
somewhere in here. Um, it just this is tough because it's like this is tough. So what I'm going
Yeah.
to do here, yeah. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, go ahead. You go ahead and evaluate your pick. I'll
Yeah,
share
so I
afterwards.
got I got Trayvon Henderson earlier. I'm going to take Ramondre as a
Mhm.
handcuff.
I like that pick a lot. I was just going to say, similar to what you were saying in the sense that, the difference between Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tyreek Hill is huge in 20 ADP. The difference between Darnell Mooney and Rashid Shaheed is not big. So I completely agree. When you get later in the draft, it is your guys. It's not the ADP, right? It is, okay, I have 3 picks left. Who do I want as my guys in these final 3 picks? I'm looking at this in this setup absolutely perfectly for exactly what I wanted. I knew, looking at this, and this is one thing to think about too, is in this one, there's no kicker defense being drafted, right? So I'm not going to run the risk of within the last 2 picks of the draft getting a quarterback. But um, I wanted Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is the guy that I want, and the value that you can get on a guy under a head coach now who just took Jared Goff, who has pretty much no rushing upside, to a QB6 finish last year, and now you're putting him with a quarterback who had 500 rushing yards last year. I think and then you also bring in the fact that he's got really good weapons. He's got Romo Dunze. He's got DJ Moore. They just drafted Colston Loveland. The rushing game is DeAndre Swift, which maybe isn't the strongest rushing game. So they're going to throw the ball. And I also think Caleb Williams is going to make a jump. I love that I can get him in the 10th round. And I look at what I'm able to build because I can take quarterback late. The team that I'm able to build around him, I absolutely love. With one of these last 2 picks, I have to go running back. So what I'm looking at is what running backs do I want that won't be there later. Tyjae Spears has got to be number one for me. I understand he just got the ankle injury. It's going to be roughly 4 to 6 weeks. That's okay, because when I look at my team here, I have 3 running backs that are all going to start the season as their RB1. So Tyjae Spears, I don't need you to play until hopefully ever, but I don't need you to play until week 6 to 10 range at the earliest. So, I mean, Bijan's going to be in there all year. Kyron's going to be in there all year. Those guys are workhorse running backs, won't leave the lineup unless injury. And I have ETN to fill if there's an injury pre-bye week. So I love the value I can get at Tyjae, cements my running back room. And now at 12-11, I can just take the best player available.
Yeah, no, I love that. Especially when you don't need him. Like
Yes.
you're just betting on the upside. That's kind of what
Mhm.
you do late after you're betting on the upside.
Yep.
So that's what I'm about to do right here. So I know I've taken I already have 2 running backs on my bench, but I really think that I don't think he's going to be here when it comes back to me. And I really, really like his value. He had a good showing in the first week of the preseason. I'm going to go Trey Benson here.
Mm. I like that a lot. Trey Benson was one guy I was debating between with Tyjae Spears.
Because and this is an if, but in the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th round of a redraft, you kind of have to, tell yourself, what if the person in front of this person gets injured? And Trey Benson would be a top 18 play every week.
Yep. Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah. Probably with the Rashee Rice injury on my team, I'm going to have to find somebody to potentially play wide out for the first couple weeks as well. I'm kind of going to go off just his finish to the end of last year. I'm just going to go Marvin Mims here.
Yep. I don't mind that at all. I'm going to get a guy in running back, which I absolutely love here. And it's going to be a handcuff, but I don't care. Bashal Tootin, I love this. And I look at kind of just to wrap this up, right? I look at what I have in my receiving room. I have JSN, wide receiver 1 on his team, Cortland Sutton, wide receiver 1 on his team, Ted McMillan, wide receiver 1 on his team, Calvin Ridley, wide receiver 1 on his team. I have Bijan Robinson, Kyron Williams, 2 running back ones in their team. I have the Jacksonville backfield because I think there's a very high chance ETN is the RB1. There's a slim chance that Bashal Tootin is the RB1. There's an even slimmer chance that Tank Bigsby is the RB1. I think that Bigsby's been there, right? So if he was going to win the job over ETN, he already would have. Tootin has not been there. So if Tootin's going to win the job, he could. But whereas Bigsby's already been there, he's already shown, hey, here's what I can do. He had actually a very prominent role in their offense last year, and ETN's still getting 100% of the snaps, right? So it's going to be either ETN or Tootin for good chunk of the season. So I like that I have that. And then I have, a young tight end and quarterback that I think are very promising as well.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy with my draft. Maybe wish I would have gone with maybe another wideout instead of Caleb Johnson, but I mean, kind of just the way the board fell. I'm happy with my team.
Yeah. I mean, you always look back and there's always what if picks, right? And when you're 3 weeks into the season, it's obviously way worse. But no, this has been a really good first mock draft Monday. I think next week we will make sure neither of us are drafting from the 2 or the 4, so that you can see what the board looks like when you have us drafting from maybe whatever the 7 and the 12 or whatever it may be. But we'll make sure that it's not the same draft spots, just because the strategy completely changes, right? We both went RB early and almost hero RB. I know I took one in the 3rd round as well. But if we're drafting, like, look at where team 11 was drafting, and you take Malik Neighbors or Nico Collins, and then CMC's not there on the way back, you got to maybe shift, right? And so, or even like team 6, right, where you go Amon-Ra, Drake London. That's a great start, but it's very different strategy in the middle rounds to build out your running back room. So, other than that, this has been the Sports Geeks podcast. They play, we talk. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.